Well, hello everybody on the internet. Thank you for joining me. Tim Knox here from Mothership Marine. We make solar electric boats. Today I'm going to show you how we make fiberglass hatches as well. Why would you want a fiberglass hatch? Well, this is why. Because they are lovely and light. They last forever and they look just like the real thing. Come on, I'll show you how. Well, let's get started. Here's a temporary mould that we've made. The wood itself is melamine-faced chipboard, and then once we screw together the shape that we want, give it several coats of honey wax. It's a wax on, wax off thing, and that creates a barrier between the substrate and the gunk that we're going to put onto it afterwards, which will be the fiberglass and the resin and all of that sort of thing. And then we create the nice corners, you can see there, in plasticine, straightforward plasticine with a ball on a stick. So once you've done all of that, it's time to put some gunk in. So we've got some gel coat here that I've already catalysed. There's 600 grams of gel coat, and then we just put this on, and it's as simple as that really. You'll probably get bored watching me do it, but let's fast forward, shall we? Stage 2, we've built a mould, we've put gel coat in the mould, and now we're going to put some tissue and then some backing cloth on the mould. First of all, I'm going to put some catalyst in my resin. I've got 400 grams of resin, and I'm going to put in 8 centilitres of catalyst here. So I'll put that in and then give it a good old mix, and then I'll try and talk whilst I'm doing this. Now, the reason that we put in tissue is so the print of the fiberglass, in this case it's CSM, chopped strand matte, doesn't come through onto the surface of the gel coat. If it's a good bond, it will come through. So that protects it at that. And then we put in a backing cloth, which is only 100 grams per metre square. And the reason for that is that it bends nicely when it's in the resin and or saturated with resin, so that when you get corners, it bends into it, and that means that you don't get cavities. So let's get on with some wetting out of the base. We're going to put in the tissue cloth first. There you go. Making sure we tuck in the corners. This is a delicate layer, but it's there for a purpose. And then in with the backing cloth, 100 gram GSM. Notice how it's white. As I put in the resin, that dissolves the white binder, and then it becomes transparent. Important to get into the corners. This is a very malleable layer, and the reason we do it is so that we don't have any cavities. Nearly done getting rid of the last strands. Fast forward to now. What have we done? Gel coat, tissue, backing cloth. I've measured in weight how much the 2 layers of CSM are going to be. It works out at 400 grams. So I'm going to mix up 1 kilo of resin here now, which I'm going to put in 20 centilitres of catalyst. That's 2%, so that's 15. And there's another 5. So give that a good mix. You can see, well, moving the camera up there, and it starts off as a nice blue colour, but then goes a muddy green colour once it's all catalysed. And I'm going to use a roller. This roller with the blue stripe on it is an anti-solvent roller, and it won't fall apart as I'm using it. So we get a good layer here to stick it all in. A lot quicker working with a roller, and I kind of like the results you get as well. So put that there. Okay, into the corners. I've got an inch brush standing by as well. And you have to do this in a well ventilated space, because It's there's lots of styrene. Now, styrene is heavier than air, but it does stink. So here we go. Number one, little bit of stuff there. Another one. Okay, already pre-cut. Pop that in about there and squeeze it down. Never goes in as easy as you'd want it. This is a bit easier to manoeuvre really than the thinner ones, particularly the tissue. There we go. Getting in there, and the reason I've done the corners, cut them like I did so that I can bring them round nice and easily in these areas here and make a nice tidy hospital type corner. There we go, it doesn't really matter which way it goes. There we go. Working fast because I've got about 20 minutes to do both of these. I put in 2 coats. The reason why we don't put in more coats than that is because of the exothermic reaction, and things tend to bend.
Time for a little bit of fast forwarding because there are a lot of Keith Richard videos to watch on YouTube. That's the first layer nearly done, and there goes the second layer, tucking in those corners, all looking good. Continuing the wetting out, the binding agent is disappearing, and then very soon I'm going to be picking up with the brush, just getting into those corners, making sure that there are no loose ends.
Here we go. All done. Now, in about 30 minutes I'm going to come back here, and when this is still malleable I'm going to use this knife and I'm going to cut round the edges, and that will take off all of this excessive flange that's around the edge. And if I wasn't doing this with a knife now, I'd be doing it with a grinder later. There we go.
3 hours later, a groundhog day of the previous stage. Wetting out now, ready for the first layer of cloth. In goes the cloth, tucking the corners in, making sure that we get the back of those flaps because we don't want to leave any unsaturated cloth around. Moving fast, making sure that that gel coat doesn't gellify. Getting in the corners again, second layer is already in, using a little brush where necessary, tucking it all in, finishing all off, making sure there's no air pockets. That's it, all done.
So coming up to the final bit now, we've got gel coat, we've got the tissue, then we've got the backing cloth, and then we've got 4 layers of CSM chopped strand mat. And they're all on there now, nicely resined in. This is the float coat or top coat, which is a version of gel coat that has a little bit of wax in it so that you can put it straight onto a surface. Now I'm just going to have a little precautionary rub down inside just to make sure that there's no spikes of anything. All looking good so far, but it's worth a check. A little tip out, get all that dust out there. That's good enough to roll now. Okay, so one final little mix.
And we're off, starting on the right hand side working the flow coat into all of those pockets. It's thick stuff, this. You really need to have to push it in. So we're moving round, working quickly, getting the stuff out of the pot because it tends to go off rather quickly in there. That's the exothermic reaction. Pushing, 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 and I think we're nearly done. Well done, Tim.
So tomorrow we're going to pop this out and we'll have a part finished, light and ever during. All finished, the flow coat has gone off, one hatch made. All we've got to do now is unscrew the mould and get on with it. So there we go.
Taking a part out of a temporary mould is no problem whatsoever, particularly if you're working in fast speed. A little tug here and a tap, 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 and you're done. Easy peasy.
So there you have it, the finished item. Light, durable, in this colour, or you can paint it. The only thing that needs to be done is to cut the edges along here, and you can do that with a grinder, perhaps even put a scallop for finger holes. Let's find out how light. Trusty scales. That's 3.17 kilograms. If that was in steel, I reckon that would be 15 kilograms, something like that. Well, that's all for the moment. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you've seen and would like to see more stuff like this, please like and subscribe. That would be brilliant. Thank you very much.